have you registered online with University of Florida Engineering?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Have you registered online as a prospective graduate student with us?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, so the link is up there. If you can go to that, it's about, I don't know, 30 seconds, no more than a minute. This gives us a little bit of your information, especially the specific areas that you want to go into, the departments, the degrees, and when you would be graduating. So we have different programs and different information for students at each year up to graduation. So maybe you can work on that while we're chatting today. And then we were going to give some shirts away, so that will also allow us to mail you a t-shirt. So you'll need to in the chat or something, send Ashley your shirt size and your address. I don't think we collect your address information on this little online form here. So, so you can ask any questions that you have today, and I'll just kind of go along with some of my standard information. All right, so we can make sure that we're getting everything answered that you'd like to know. So we're going to talk about today our master's and PhD programs, and this is across all of the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. So I report to Toshi Nishida, who's Associate Dean for Academic Affairs for all of our College of Engineering. My name's Mike Nazareth, and I work with all the new students that would be coming in. So any engineering department, any degree for graduate areas. And then Ashley.
I'm Ashley Wilson. I'm the coordinator for graduate recruitment, and I assist Mike.
So we're also going through a bit of a transition now. Every college deals with this every so often, every university. So it's time for for University of Florida now. So we have a search for a new president. That's been ongoing, and we believe the finalists for that position will be announced at some point this fall. And the new president could start as early as January, or could be pushed till next summer or fall. Usually the presidents are here about 10 years. The one we have now, I think Kent Fox is in his 9th year. And then that usually brings with it other high-end administration at the university and the direction and the goals of the next many years to come. So know that that's ongoing right now for University of Florida. And we have about 20 colleges here on our campus. And one of them is engineering, and there's always 2 or 3 dean searches that are taking place each year, which is the main, the highest level position in a college to lead that effort. And our dean is retiring. So that was announced, Dean Cami Abernathy, last January. She's been on board for a good 14 years and is retirement age. So they just announced the 4 finalists, and those interviews are actually starting tomorrow over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we are expecting a new announcement for our dean within a month or 2, and the timeline will be similar, and then the direction and the focus for the next many years. And then likely there'll be several of the underlying next level administration, the associate deans, which will also turn over. So all of that takes place regularly, and it's just that time now on our end. So University of Florida is quite large. Have you been to campus before, David?
I have not.
No, okay. Well, we'll have to get you down here sometime. We have plenty of campus visit programs where we can handle all the details for you to do that. We have over 57,000 students, so that's about what, 5 or 10 Florida Polytechnic universities put together. I forget the enrollment there, but it's quite large. We have about every area you can imagine, including a law school and medical school and veterinary school. And a lot of these are intertwined now. There's a lot of collaboration across colleges, across campus in many different areas. Not only collaboration across our College of Engineering and departments, but across the campus. We have a lot of graduate students here. About 30% of University of Florida is graduate students, so that's great. That's our focus. It's not just for undergraduate students. And we surpassed $1 billion in annual research expenditures in this last year. And that's really, really important for graduate students because those are the funds that help pay for the graduate students so that you can have, if you're a PhD student, your tuition paid and monthly living stipends and all of those kinds of things. So we get lots and lots of money from federal grants and other areas. We have great accolades in our rankings, and we're quite proud of that. We are in the top 5. And our College of Engineering has been around a long time as well, over 100 years. We have nearly 11,000 students, so we are a good percentage of University of Florida, a good 20%. And 30% of engineering is also graduate students. So we have a lot of PhD students, a lot of master students. So the focus is not just on the undergraduates. We've had quite a few students here from Florida Polytechnic. These are just a few of them, and there's others. I know Catherine Miller had asked me to come down there and present the first year of bachelor's degree graduates for your institution. And that must have been 5 or 6 years ago now. And we've tried to present ever since. So we definitely have students every year. Here's some of them. You may recognize or know some of these students, and that's not an all-encompassing list. I know that there's some others. So it's been a goal here for the last 20 years. I'm in my 9th year here at University of Florida, but my 30th year doing this. So I've certainly been around a while. Before this was University of Michigan. And the goal has been to get into the top 20. And so we were well beyond that a good 20 years ago. And then we moved up into the top 20. And then the goal was immediately to get into the top 10. And in 2018, we were able to do that. And then the very next hour, the goal was to get into the top 5. So this has been a 20 to 25 year goal for University of Florida. And we achieved that last year. Last year in fall of 2021 is when the 2022 rankings come out. And then about a month ago, the 2023 rankings came out, and we remained as top 5, number 5 public university. So we're very proud of that, and that brings along a lot of prestigious and premier programs. We also have great rankings among all of our engineering departments, individual departments, and the college as a whole. So we have virtually all areas of engineering, which here at Florida includes computer science, includes data science, includes material science engineering. Those are all encompassed in there. We have great accessibility and offerings to bring in a diverse cohort of master's and PhD students. And every year we do quite well in this, and this is a goal of ours. This is one of the prestigious areas in the country that's been ranking institutions and how well they do. This is what I look at that website that's at the bottom. That will tell you exactly the count of how many students graduate with a bachelor's, for say, that are Hispanic, or in journalism that are African-American with a master's or a PhD. And it has many metrics, many ethnicities, many disciplines, but you can go there to see the numbers and the counts and how they rank. They actually do a ranking from like 1 to 100 or 200 for each area. And the point being here is that University of Florida always ranks in and near the top 10 or top 20 in all of these. And so we're quite proud of that, to have a diverse student body. We have all of these different departments. We have 11 departments of engineering, virtually every area that you can think of, except maybe petroleum engineering, but still facets of that exist in our chemical engineering department, in our material science engineering department, et cetera. So if there's any kind of master's or PhD you're looking for engineering related, I'm sure that we offer that here. These are the degrees and these are the timelines. So it's about 5 years on average to get a PhD, and we prefer students to enroll straight from their bachelor's to a PhD. And you can get the master's along the way. That usually comes at the 1.5 to 2 year mark. So most are 5 years. I've seen some students, a few finish in 4, a few more finish in 4.5, mostly 5. You know, there's always a few students that take longer than that. If you have a master's, then you can probably cut 1 year of that off. And those are all on campus. So students ask all the time if there's an online degree for PhD. There really isn't here at University of Florida. Certainly, we made some accommodations during COVID, as did every institution in the country, to swap things over to the online format. But now that's all back to normal. So that's in person. Although in the summer months, many of our PhD students will leave and they'll go do internships throughout the state or throughout the country, even internationally. So that's still an option. We do have masters as well. That's a 1.5 to 2 years. That can be on campus or online. And that's called EDGE for us. That's our distance learning programs. And most of the departments offer online for that. Some don't, some it changes from year to year, but we do offer that. So is there any questions yet about what we offer or what you're looking at before I get into some other nitty gritty, David? Or it looks like Riley has joined us.
No questions here.
All right. Riley, we need you to register also. Maybe Ashley, can you put that link in the chat or something like that? We have a link where you can register your information online, and that lets us know who you are, what programs you want, when you're going to graduate, and we can send you more specifics. But you can also, since you're here today, we have a Florida t-shirt we will mail you, but you need to let Ashley know your size, t-shirt size, and your mailing address so we can get that to you. So these are the numbers for this fall. So of all of the new PhD students that started in engineering this fall, this is the exact numbers. I just updated this slide this morning. So we had almost 1,200 PhD applications across all departments. That's a little low from our norm. Our normal is about 1,500, 1,600. We expect that to rebound some now that we're fully departing the last 2+ years of COVID, et cetera. We had 371 that were admitted. That's usually in closer to the 400 or 500 range. So that was down some as well. But the percentage is usually around 30%, no more than 35%. And then we have 156 new PhD students, and that's down as well. It's usually 175 to 200, but about 35 to 40% of those that are admitted end up coming and enrolling. So that percent holds. The GPA range has been the 3.7+ range for undergraduate cumulative GPA. We regularly see students admitted in the 3.5+ range. Excuse me. But I see students that have been admitted at the 3.0+ range. Some of those are students that are in a master's program and come into the PhD. They might not have done as well in the undergraduate, but did remarkably stellar in the master's. Or I've seen some in the lower grade range, and maybe that was really sunk because of one bad semester. But if you took that out, their grades were much more. And then that was the average GRE, although we're no longer requiring the GRE, so you would not have to worry about that going forward. So to apply for PhD, and it's similar for master's, for us that goes through the Office of Admissions. Some universities that goes through the graduate school has an admissions, or you just work with the college or department you're applying. But for us, that's the Office of Admissions, and it's the CollegeNet application. So you'll have to submit that. If you're applying PhD, I have PhD application fee waivers, so you can apply for free. So you can just email me, or that's another thing that I just send out regularly. When you fill out that little online request form, then when you're getting close to graduation, I send those. For international applications, students, we don't have automatic PhD application fee waivers, but some of our engineering departments do offer them. So we can find out if you're in one of those, if that applies to you. The deadline is always going to be December 5th. So December 5th for the following fall. So the students that are applying by this December 5th would be for fall 2023 PhD. If you're a junior, then you apply by December 5th, 2023, that would be for fall 2024 PhD. Now, the application doesn't turn off that day. You can certainly still submit your app after that, but if you don't get it in by then, you'll have much less opportunity. You would be considered less for fellowship and things like that. They're really going to focus mainly on the ones that get it in by that time. So you have the online application. The fee waiver code is what I would send that you put in that then waives the fee. Transcripts, I believe now you can just attach unofficial transcripts when you apply. And for those that are admitted and decide they're going to come, they submit the official ones later. Letters of recommendation, you need those from 3 faculty. It doesn't have to be faculty, but it should be as many as possible. You have to write a statement of purpose. Why do you want to go to grad school? Why that program? Why that school? What are you interested in doing in your career? And then the GRE is now waived. All of our engineering departments have waived the GRE for PhD, so that is no longer required. They've been revisiting this every year. So technically this is just through fall 2023, but now that they've started it, I would be pretty surprised if they went back to it a year from now for fall 2024. And then you mostly attach and upload all these documents to admissions. But we are a large university, so we can make things confusing and bureaucratic as best as the rest of them. So some might have to go to the department you're applying or the graduate school. So just pay attention to those. All those instructions will be listed there. The statement of purpose, and we can get you these slides too. We're recording this, but Ashley can also post these slides or email them to Catherine and she can distribute them or something. This is what like I was saying, why do you want to go on to graduate school? This is really where you need to talk a little bit about what's your future plans, what's your experience, your preparation, what do you want to do? This is important because every year we have more qualified applicants than we have space for PhD. We can't just admit everybody. We have to make decisions and choices because we don't have enough room and we don't have enough funding. And the ones that we admit are going to get some funding packages. So this is one of the factors that can differentiate yourself from the other students because we're always going to have more qualified students than slots. So if everybody has high GPAs and when they did have required the test scores, then we have to start looking at other factors. So what you write for your statement of purpose is unique to you. It would not be the same as what anybody else writes. It's your own writing and your own experience and your own goals and plans. So this can help to differentiate to get admitted. And then there could be a personal essay. They used to have this as optional. This is if you feel there's anything else that should be considered before the admission committee makes a decision. So maybe, you had one bad semester of grades and you don't feel that's representative and something was going on in your life that time. So this would be your opportunity to talk about that. Or maybe you overcome some huge obstacle and you feel you would bring great experience, great diversity, great representation to our university by having a graduate student like you there because you've overcome some things. So this is a place to talk about that. This would never get you admitted in itself, but when students are similar academically and they're all qualified, and let's say there's only 5 slots left and we have 50 or 100 great applicants left, things like this could be the thing to differentiate and put someone over the top. So you don't have to do this. Not everybody has something to contribute for this. And then letters of recommendation are really important. And these are really important because I don't pick who gets in for our PhD or master's programs. The only people that select those is our faculty. Our faculty who all have PhDs decide who would be the next PhD students or the next master's students. So they really find value in reading about what other faculty have to say about you. And so you really want all 3 to be from faculty. It's okay if you only have 2, and then the third can be from maybe a director of something at your school that worked with you, or maybe you had an internship somewhere and that person, but at least 2 from faculty, and they really should be faculty that know you well, that can say great things, and that you've equipped them to be able to say great things about you. Because the average faculty, every application they're reading has 3 of these, so the ones that are strong letters really stand out. So think about who these would be, go in and meet with them, talk about the kinds of things you would like them to say, and have them stress your strengths, etc. When you submit your application with admissions, there's for letters of recommendation, there's a spot where you put in the names of these people, these 3 people, and their emails. And then once you submit your app, then the admissions office and CollegeNet generates emails that go to them that explain that you've requested for them to write a letter recommendation, and then they would write it, and it would give the upload instructions. So they don't give this to you. They have to upload it, and they can't do that until you've applied. So that's another reason not to wait until the last hour. If you wait till December 5th to apply, well, then only that day or the next day would the faculty even get their link to upload their letter. And you know, they're busy. They're busy here, they're busy at your school, they're busy everywhere. So they're not going to do that instantly. And, you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I talk to a lot of faculty every year, and they say the average faculty gets asked at least 100 times a year to submit 100 letters of recommendation. So that's just one more thing they have to do with everything else. So give them a lot of time. They keep samples of the old letters, but they like to tailor them to each individual student. Give them time to be able to do that. I've seen one great letter recommendation could be all you need to get fully admitted PhD and 5 years of full funding. That's how much weight any of these can carry. So this is pretty significant. Okay, so what is the offer? So the offer at University of Florida right now, we have a bunch of different named fellowships, deans, fellowship, recruiting fellowship, research, and they keep changing these names every year, every other year. But the bottom line is we offer these fellowships, whatever they're called. And they all have common factors. The first common factor is they waive your tuition. Doesn't matter if you're an in-state resident, doesn't matter if you're an out-of-state resident, doesn't matter what tuition is on that year, they will just waive the tuition. So that's gone. Then they will provide you student health insurance, whatever the rates are at that time. And for us, that's called Gator Grad Care. It also provides insurance if you have a significant other or kids. And then you get an annual stipend. And this is the money that you live off of, pays your rent, car payment, your utilities, your food, some fun times, etc. Right now, that's a minimum of $30,000 for these awards. And these awards are guaranteed for 4 or 5 years. So about the same amount of time that it would take to get the degree. And if it's only 4 years and you need 5 years, you'll get the 5th year. Every year, there's an annual review for every PhD student to make sure they're making progress towards their degree. That's meetings where you sit down, your faculty advisor sits down, other people on your committee sits down, and you go over, you know, what's working, what's not working, what have you completed, what do you have left to complete, etc. And that's all a review called progress towards your degree. So as long as a student is always making progress towards their degree, then it's in everybody's best interest. They stay, they're funded, and funding will be found to keep you there. And there's no separate application at University of Florida. You fill out the admissions application and you're automatically considered for admission. You're automatically considered for PhD funding. Now, we have awards that are higher than this. Some are $32,000, $33,000, $36,000 a year. So $30,000 a year is $2,500 a month. That's a pretty decent amount to live in Gainesville, Florida. You'll have no problems and you'll have extra money. If you want to have a roommate, then you'll have a lot of extra money and you'll be doing really well. So that really depends on the student. And, you know, if they pick a real extravagant place, we have a lot of new 8 to 10 story high rises that they've been building for the last 5 years. There's probably 4 that are being built right now as I speak in Gainesville. So that's been a big thing they're doing more and more of to update the housing for graduate students and undergrad students. So there's a limited number of those awards that I just talked about, but then we have an unlimited award of these. And all these awards, they're the exact same. There's no difference except the minimum stipend on those is $25K a year instead of $30,000 a year. Although more than 3/4 of these are $30K a year. We've been on a several-year plan to make all of these minimum of $30K. We're not all the way there, but I think we're 75 or 80% there. So outside of that, the difference between this award and the other ones is these are just good for 1 year, where the others are 4 to 5, but it's the same thing. So all of these are based on satisfactory progress towards your degree. So if you're doing that, all of these one-year awards will be renewed every year. So there's lots of funding opportunities for those that want PhD. There's other funding opportunities for students in our graduate program here that come from other sources. And one is this, McKnight. I didn't even know what McKnight was when I moved to Florida. I'd never heard of it. It's a state office, and it's only for students from the state of Florida. So if you go to any university in Florida and you want to go to graduate school in any university in Florida, then you're eligible for this. So that's another pocket of fund. You can look it up, you can Google it. They have their own websites and deadlines, etc. Bridge to the Doctorate is another one. This is funded between Florida and Georgia and NSF. They have other pots of funding. They have applications and deadlines and stuff, so you can look that one up. And then we have a lot of research institutes, and they have separate pockets of funds. And the research institutes is really on a topic area, and then there could be students across multiple engineering departments. So for example, Florida Institute for National Security, that could have students in electrical engineering, that can have students in mechanical engineering, that could have students in computer science engineering. So it can be a mix of people for cross collaboration. And then we have some graduate school fellowships at UF, and a lot of these can be top off. So if you apply for any national award like NSF, Department of Defense, SMART, some of these real prestigious ones, Gates Foundation, if you get any of those and they pay for everything, your tuition and stipend and everything at Florida, usually they would pay for 1, 2, or 3 years, then we could give you extra lump sum of funds back, and basically you just put those in your bank account. You can do whatever you want with them. And I've seen students get up to $10,000 a year for each of the years that they're on that national fellowship, because basically it saves us money. You have applied and received a national accolade, and they're paying for everything for 3 years. So we're saving money. So we give some of that back to the student. And that's what this would be. So apply for some of those during your senior year, definitely, and see if you're able to secure some. Okay. So all of that was PhD. So now I'm going to talk about master's, which is similar, but a little different. If you're in a graduate course here at Florida, let's say you're in computer science engineering, then your graduate classes would be master's and PhD students. So they take the same graduate classes. The master's students usually just take classes and then they get a degree in order to increase their expertise, and then they go get a job. Or the master students could be taking the graduate classes and doing a little research on the side because they're thinking about it. They want to continue with PhD after they complete the master's. The PhD students, they know they're going to be there for 5 years. They're in these same classes for expertise, and they're doing a minimum number of research hours every week with their faculty mentor, and they're doing a bunch of other things. Basically, whatever the faculty wants them to do, that's the deal. That's why they're getting everything paid for. The faculty might be getting ready to write a grant to NSF, so they need you to help do some research to write 2 pages of the grant. The faculty might have an undergraduate student organization in engineering for thermodynamics or mechanical engineering, and they need you to help co-advise that group or mentor some undergrads. So there could be all kinds of things they would ask you to do while you're a PhD student. But all of them should be related to why you want to be there, your passion in some topic, and so they're all beneficial to you as a graduate student. So for the master's students, you submit all the exact same application things as the PhD. There's no difference. And the GRE is waived for everyone except CISE, which is computer science, computer information systems, computer science engineering, computer engineering. So that one department is not waiving the GRE for masters. They are for PhD. There's the number of applications. We get lots more. We get 4,000 to 6,000 master's applications every year. I usually see us admitting between 2,000 and 3,000, usually 40 to 50%. And we usually have between 750 to 900 new master's students. This year we have 804. And I see those, the average is a 3.54, but I really see lots at a 3.0 plus. Half of those are international students that have quite different grade scales than what we do here in the US. That one, I see students applying all the way up till the end of February or early March. No one's going to look at that until after December 5th, but really they're going to look at the PhD apps first. They're really going to be looking at these in January, February, March. So I just tell students, get it in before Christmas break. If you absolutely can't do that, then work on it during Christmas break and turn it in the first week back. The one golden rule, both at Florida and everywhere for grad school, the longer you take to submit your app, the longer you take for anybody to look at it and get back to you. And so you can hear the decision. So if you want to hear your decision sooner, then you need to apply sooner. If you wait to the last hour, then expect to be in the last hour to hear back. So that's kind of a good rule, because every large school gets thousands of apps and it takes a long time. So there isn't a lot of master's funding options, both at Florida or anywhere. Most master's students have to pay their own way. You're only here for 1.5 to 2 years. So faculty are not going to devote all those funds from their research dollars and budgets and grants for someone that isn't here as much. But I do see a few that get some awards. One big one we have is Academic Achievement Award, but this is for non-Florida residents. So you're both at Florida Polytechnic University. If you're an in-state Florida resident, then you would not be eligible for this. If you're not, then we can give you $4,500 off because you'd be paying out-of-state tuition. We do have distance learning. That's half the tuition rate. So if you want an online learning experience with the University of Florida, you can, and it's half the tuition rate. For us, Edge distance learning is the same high quality, we feel, as the on-campus program, as best you can without being in the classroom, because it's not a watered down version of our master's courses. You watch the classes live as they're taking place. If you have a job then and you're unable to do it, they're recorded and posted every day, so you could watch them at night. And you take the exams at the exact same time, proctored to where you're located as the students would be, and the content's the same. It's not weakened down at all. So it's a good product. And then the other big thing is we feel we have an economical tuition. This year it's $12,744 for in-state resident for graduate school for the master's degree. That's for the whole year. So half of that for each semester, however they divide that up. When I was at University of Michigan, it was 2.5 times that. And a lot of the big public universities are much, much higher in other states. But the state of Florida, I find, is really good about keeping tuition economical across universities for public universities, both for undergraduate and graduate. So that's great. All right, so we have some recruitment programs. So David, did you say you were a junior?
Yes, sir.
And what area are you interested in?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay. And Riley, are you there? What level are you?
Sorry, sir, what was that?
What grade are you in? What level are you?
Oh, I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore. Okay. All right. So junior preview is for juniors. So we have these dates set. Actually, me and Ashley are working on this right now. So we're going to bring in about 50 prospective PhD students. They're all juniors and they're from all over the country, but we have students from the state of Florida. This is 2 days for you, 2.5 days to kind of see our campus, and then spend 1 day, the Friday, in an area of your interest. So for you, that would be our CISE department. And then what area are you, Riley?
I'm in Lakeland.
No, I mean, what area of engineering are you interested in?
Oh, sorry. I'm environmental engineering.
Okay, so we have SE, which is Civil Coastal Environmental Engineering. So this is mostly for juniors. Sometimes they do sophomores, but it would let you know for next fall. So there's an application. Now the application passed. That deadline was a week ago because this is coming up, but it's still open. So, David, if you applied within the next 2 days, I'll have them look at it and see if you're available and interested in this. And there's more on the website you can see. But it also, I have the people look at it that would ultimately do PhD admissions. So it's kind of, I want the same students coming to the program to kind of be on that track and not be separate, so that the departments have looked at your credentials best you have for now. You wouldn't have exactly what you you would have when you're graduating from Florida Polytechnic. But they can kind of, they're familiar with that. They can see, who's heading down that direction. We also have a summer program, and the students that come for this get a priority advantage for our SURF summer offers. And so SURF is Summer Undergraduate Research at Florida, and that's for 10 weeks. And that's where the students come and they stay in the residence halls. So we had about 90 students in the residence halls this last summer. And there's the same goal. These would be students for fall 2024. So it's a good year ahead always. And you would have a faculty mentor, and you actually work in a lab for those 10 weeks on the research for the area that you're most interested in. Now, it might not be exactly the same as what you would do in grad school, but it would, get you going in the right direction. This is about an 11K program. The junior preview is about 1,500 per student, flights, hotels, meals, all that, mileage if they drive. But this one, we have to pay the dorms, and they get a $6,000 stipend. So you actually get paid to be in the program for all that time. And then it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff on the websites. Each student does a video, their SURF video, 2 or 3 minutes on their summer research project and experience and summer fun. So those are all on the website now. You can go back and see 6-7 years worth of them, look at those, photo albums, etc. And let me know if you have any questions. We do take a few sophomores in this, so that might be for you, Riley. It's mostly juniors as first priority, and then we do fill in some with the sophomores. And then we have a third campus visit program. So we have lots of campus visit programs here. This one is the spring visit. It's always the third week of February. This one is for all the students that have applied PhD and been admitted. So they applied by December 5th. And then we want to bring them all in, as many as we can at the same time. So we usually have 175 to 200 here across all departments. And they stay in the same hotel. We book the entire hotel next to campus. And you spend most of the time in the department you're admitted, but we have some fun stuff going on for everybody as well. And you get to meet your cohort. So if you were going to be here for 5 years, then you get to meet all those other students from around the country that will also be your colleagues for those 5 years. So it really serves a great purpose. And anytime we run these programs, we pay for everything. So we have 3 programs annually. So there should be something for each year. Some people come on multiple ones. And then, of course, there's lots of fun stuff to do besides all those classes and exams and tests and stuff and research. There's lots of fun things. Sports is huge here. Student sports like intramurals is here just for fun. Any kind of sport or activity you can think of, I can guarantee you that we have it here. If not, there's an option to start your own. If there's some area you enjoy and we don't have it. And our students like that. It's really a good atmosphere and environment. Gainesville is truly a college town. If you took University of Florida out of Gainesville, it might just blow away in the breeze with the ocean. It's mostly about the students. It really dies down in the summer months. We probably have 130 or 40,000, but then we have the 57,000 students. The temperature is great. It's very similar to Lakeland, maybe only 2 degrees less. We just got through the months and months of 95. This last couple of days has been a beautiful high 70s, low 80s with a little breeze. So we're all been anxious and excited for that. We're right in the middle there, but it's a little thinner here than where it is by you. So it's about 70 minutes to get over to the Atlantic Ocean, 70 or 80. That's where I go all the time, St. Augustine. I go to Butler Beach. And then it's only about 50 minutes if you want to go to the west of the Gulf. I'm actually going over to Cedar Key next Monday and going fishing. I like to go charter fishing in Cedar Key, and that's just 50 minutes away. Not as busy as some of the bigger towns by the ocean, so it's beautiful. And Gainesville has a lot of rankings of best college towns. There's a couple of them, but you can certainly search and see all those things. And then there's other things to do near Gainesville. Jacksonville's 70 minutes. Orlando and Tampa are both within 2 hours. That picture on the top right corner is Lake Wahlberg. We have 2 lakes. We have one right on campus and one just 15 minutes away that UF owns. And that one has, picnicking, kayaking, sailboats, jet boats, all kinds of things. So our students enjoy going out there to that most of the months of the year. Okay, so that's me, that's Ashley. There's all of our direct information. That's me talking a lot, throwing a lot of stuff at you. So what else can I answer for each of you now?
You mentioned the fellowship programs and a few other methods to help students pay through PhD programs. Do most students get one of those and get their PhD paid for, or do most
All the
most of them have to
PhD
pay-
students do. So
all? Okay.
yeah, so we have, we do two things here. It was different the last university I was at. So when a student applies PhD, if they're going to be admitted, they either get an admission letter and fellowship in the same letter. You're admitted PhD, here's your fellowship package. We'd like you to come to the visit. And then you have till April 15th. April 15th is the national enrollment deadline. So if you're admitted on January 2nd or 10th, you don't have to decide till then. The other letter is just straight admission with no fellowship package. And that's what half of our departments put the money in, half don't. It's just the admission. And then it says, come to the visit. And then they want to meet the students during the visit in case they haven't met them before. And then after the visit, they decide who's going to get the fellowship. And then they send them another separate letter of the fellowship. Nobody really shows up and enrolls if they don't get the fellowship. Nobody pays their own way unless it's somebody who has an external fellowship from somewhere else. And then that's paid for. And then it's usually an agreement that we'll pay the rest once that one's over with. So there used to be years where students would pay their own way, but I think that trend has changed greatly in the last 10 years, and most especially in the last 5. I don't know of any students that are here paying their own way. Now that's for PhD. It's the opposite of that for master's. I know very few students that are being paid for. Most are paying their own way. But most just want to come and take the classes. To be able to have your tuition paid, you'd have to do a teaching assistant, like teach undergrad classes while you're in full-time grad classes. And most of the master students that want to be done in a year and a half or 2 years, they don't want to do that. That's a big, that's 10 or 20, that's 20 hours a week you need to prep for. And most are not interested in that. Okay, good question. Other questions?
You mentioned that sophomores can do surf, which is over the summer, and that's research for 10 weeks, and
Yeah.
it's paid. For my school here at Florida Poly, I have to have, like for class credit, I have to have an internship. And do you by any chance have an idea of whether or not that would be like considered an internship?
It should. It's a research internship. So the main kinds of internships are you're with a company and it's a corporate internship doing something. You're with a national lab or some kind of research lab like Oak Ridge or Idaho National Engineering Laboratory or Sandia, and you're working on research. That's an internship. Or you're at a university. And if you're at a university, it's an undergraduate research internship. So you're in a lab and you're doing research like what your professors do. You're learning about it. I mean, you're not going to do it at the same level, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, I'm doing undergraduate research starting within the next month.
Okay, great.
What do you think that probably makes my application look a little nicer for?
Yeah,
doing this?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The challenge for you will be is the ones that are juniors are going to get top priority because that's
Yeah.
their last summer before they graduate. When after their senior year, they're graduated and done. And so they'll be looked at first. And they also have taken more classes, and so they can do more in the labs because they've taken more classes and certain things. But I do see a couple sophomores in every year. And there are a couple departments that don't just want juniors, they want to have a couple departments. For example, our chemical engineering department has an REU, and they took 15 students last summer, and 5 of them were sophomores. They did not want them to be all juniors. So it varies each year.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay, any other questions? All right, did both of you connect with Ashley? Ashley, did you connect with them?
David's, I didn't get a response from Riley.
Okay, Riley, you need to get with Ashley. We need your address and your shirt size so that we can, we've got Gator shirts right here in the office. And then the other thing you need to do is this right here. This was the first screen, Riley. You need to go to that link and that's where you register with
Oh.
UF as a prospective graduate student.
Okay, yeah, I filled that one out because I saw the I saw the link. I thought for some reason I thought that the link was related to the shirt thing.
It is, that doesn't collect your mailing address or your shirt size. So just
Yeah.
get with Ashley on that. So, okay, so we're pretty good with email. So get a hold of us at any time, you or any of your friends or anyone else at Florida Polytechnic, or send them this link. Ashley's going to send these slides along to Catherine so that she can get them to you as well, and you'll have all this information. And stay in touch, and would love to see you at UF sometime.
One final question real quick.
Yep.
The junior preview application has computer and information science and engineering areas of specialization.
Yes.
And then it has like 3 fields.
Yep.
It looks like I'm supposed to search for things, but nothing pops up when I click, and I don't know what to search for to even get started with that.
There should be a drop down there. So I know that form was causing some problems for 2 other students that emailed me, but I got 16 apps in just for CISE, so they must have figured it out. It's probably just funky search. The IT guys told me to tell the students to try it in a different browser, and maybe that'll help you.
Thank you.
Because it's pre-populated with a whole bunch of areas of specialization. And CISE is probably the top one now, because we're trying to be deemed AI university. And we got an $80 million donation from the CEO of NVIDIA Corporation, who's a Gator alum. And so we started Makalowski Hall for data science and information technology. It's an 8-story building. It'll be done by next fall. They've been working on it for 2 years. And the CISE department is going to move over into one whole floor of that. Well, part of the CISE department, it's bigger than that. And then the ECE department will be a floor, and then it'll be collaboration with other colleges on campus. So they want every college on campus to embed AI in their academics somehow. And that's been a transformation for us. It's also, we have the HyperGator, which is one of the fastest supercomputers in the Southeast. And some of that money went to upgrade that to become one of the fastest in the world. And that's taking place as well. So exciting times for computer science and data science. Okay.
What an exciting time to be at UF as well, with all that growth, and always appreciate UF coming to Florida Poly. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much, Ashley, for providing this overview today. I'll be happy to push this out to other students.
Okay, thank you. Let us know if you need anything else.
Thank you. Always nice to see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.